lawyers for MyPillow, aka Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, have been missing out on some rather important meetings. So this is according to Insider. Lindell's attorneys are refusing to participate in court-ordered meetings or hand over any discovery material in the $1.3 billion defamation suit filed against him by Dominion Voting Systems. And so, discovery is, of course, very important. Handing over documentation that's required. Well, again, kind of an important thing to do, especially when you're being sued, because generally, and we saw this happen with Alex Jones, if you don't turn over that material, then you lose by default. There is no determination other than you basically forfeit the case by not giving the requested documentation or evidence or whatever, and therefore immediately ruled against you. Not good. Not good at all. So now let me give you more detail from Insider, what they wrote. In a filing submitted to the judge Monday night, the other lawyers in the case say that Lindell's lawyers stopped showing up to meetings designed to hash out a schedule for the case the day after the Dominion's lawyers served them with a request for documents. The filing was signed by attorneys representing every other party in the case, including Dominion, Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, and Smartmatic. Dominion, of course, as I mentioned, is suing Lindell, along with Trump attorneys Powell and Giuliani, for spreading, of course, nonsense, false conspiracy theories about the voting machines, the Dominion machines. Oh, they were manufactured in Venezuela, the ghosts of Hugo Chavez, and they allowed the Chinese to hack the elections with the Italians and the Iranians, and then there's the Pomeranians as well, and the people from Uranus. They also wanted to install Joe Biden as president of the United States. I've got the evidence, it's right here. I've got it right, it's all right here, but I can't show you any evidence, and I'm not gonna give it to the court, but I have the evidence. Use the code MyPillow MyPillow 69 in order to get a deal on My Pillows, and then maybe you can see a little bit of the evidence, but probably not, because it's not real, and I'm a lunatic. Okay, anyway, again, more details here. So now in September, U.S. District Judge Carl J. Nichols had ordered all the parties to meet to hash out this schedule, right, for discovery and other motions. But after attending a few scheduling meetings, Lindell's lawyers informed the others that they didn't want to participate anymore. They're going to take their ball and they're going to go home. Lindell's lawyers said that they're planning to appeal Nichols' rejection of their motion to dismiss all the way to the Supreme Court, and that they wouldn't participate in discovery until then. We're going to take this to the Supreme Court. No, you know what this is? This is a stalling tactic. Like, we don't have anything, and so all we have is we're just going to stall, delay, and then we're going to figure something else out. So, again, if you don't show up to court-appointed meetings and you don't give over the documentation, you're going to end up just like Alex Jones. Uh-oh. But I love how that the idea that they have that if they don't show up, then somehow that gets escalated to the Supreme Court and they'll end up getting their way. That's not how this works. Do they believe the Supreme Court, that the justices in the Supreme Court actually will give two shits about their case? I mean, I got news for you. They probably won't. They probably don't care at all. And I'm not saying that, the court isn't massively conservative. No, of course they are. They're biased and very partisan. In fact, look, let's be honest. The whole idea of a Supreme Court that is completely unbiased is ridiculous. Human beings have biases. Who are the justices? Human beings. And so, yeah, no, of course they're going to have an ideology of the people on the court. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't make decisions that are based on the law. They're supposed to. It's just in this case, right now, we do have a massively biased to the conservative ideology Supreme Court. And more importantly than just the conservative ideology is more of the corporatist ideology. Okay? And so now since this actually does deal with defamation, right, I doubt very much either they're going to pick this up or rule in favor of Mike Lindell against Giuliani, etc., and all these people, Sidney Powell, who have been coming up with some of the most outrageous lies. Why do you think the Supreme Court would ever want to stick their hand into that hornet's nest? No, not at all. And again, why would they care? Seems pretty open and shut to me. No, the court's not going to bother. Besides, they're too busy with other things. And now we have to worry about, of course, Stephen Breyer, who's going to replace him. That's news that broke today. But as I said before, the conservatives on the Supreme Court are Heritage Foundation court appointments. Incredibly pro-corporate. Well, this just happens to have involved a corporation that has been massively defamed. And so I don't think this is going to go well for the Pillow Man. It's not going to go the way that he expects. Now, in addition to this, and it gets worse, Dominion's own attorneys also said, oh, in a possible settlement with not only Pillow Man, but Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, etc., yeah, we don't think we're going to go in that direction. We're not going to try to settle the case. No, we're going to go to trial. In fact, they said this, Dominion's attorneys, given the devastating harm to plaintiffs, the lack of remorse shown by defendants, and the fact that many of them continue to double down in their lies, plaintiffs do not believe any realistic possibility of settlement exists. Uh-oh. So they're going to go to court. And look, what's more important than just a possible monetary judgment, which none of them will be able to pay. Again, it's $1.3 billion each defendant. That's the amount that they're being sued by. I don't think Mike Lindell has $1.3 billion lying around. I just don't think he has that much money. And so, or assets even. So, no, but what this is about, it's not about the money. It's about the admission of guilt. In fact, let's go to Don Herzig, who's a University of Michigan law professor. Here's what he said about this. There's no particular incentive to settle with Giuliani or Powell. And it's not just the sadistic glee of making their lives miserable by forcing this to continue. It's that almost always the party settling will stipulate in its terms of settlement, I don't concede that I did anything wrong. And unless they're nuts, what the corporation wants out of those two is exactly the acknowledgement that you did something wrong. And unless, so for them, there's a pressing interest to go to trial and make them lose. And lose they shall. Again, it's very, very clear that Dominion has an excellent case. And the rest of them, Giuliani, Powell, and Mike Pillow, they don't have any case. Unless you count pillowcase, I suppose. Speaking of pillows, I'm pretty sure by the end of this, Dominion is going to be making Mike bite his own pillow over these shenanigans. I think the only question that I have is, what Dominion's going to call their brand new pillow company when they're done? That's a good question.